since I did my last review, I've been thinking about some things that you might have experienced as a Jean Michel Jarre fan, and so that's what I want to talk about, is things I've experienced and you might have experienced as a Jean Michel Jarre fan. Now they may not be exclusive to being a Jarre fan, but some of them will be. Somebody at some point might have said to you, "That's not music."
That's not music.
That's not music.
I remember very clearly when Zuluk had come out. We'd been out for the day at a show near a place called Wookey Hall in Somerset, and whilst I was in the van that we had then, I had Zuluk playing. I think it was probably Ethnicolor, and I remember my mum saying to another friend of hers, "Oh, that's not music." No, that's definitely not music.
Definitely not music.
Of course it is. I've seen that Jarre's written that it's not the music that's electronic, it's the instruments, and that it's music. It's just a revolution. I'm sure as different types of music have come along over the centuries, that people around them have thought, "Oh, that's not music. That's not like anything we've experienced before." Knopfdrucken. Have you come across people that think electronic music is just a matter of pressing a button and then, wow, you've got an amazing album, like 30-40 minutes or more of music ready composed for just by pressing a button? That happened to me when I was doing GCSE German. If you've ever been to Germany or places where they speak German, and you've seen on the vending machines it's got Knopfdrucken, where you put your money in and you press the button. And when I did GCSE German, I took the fourth rendezvous, I think it's probably from the Lyon concert live version, and played it in class as you do when you're learning other languages. You play a piece of music and you talk about it. And the German teacher, really nice guy, I'm a massive fan of classical music, but I think very in the traditional mould of classical music lover. And he said, "It's just Knopfdrucken." And I didn't have the German language skills at that time to come back at him and say, no, it's not just about Knopfdrucken. So, Mr. Corrie, it isn't just Knopfdrucken. Pressing a button in electronic music does not give you a ready-made album. There's a lot of thought and effort goes into it, okay? It's not pressing buttons. Nicht Knopfdrucken. Another misidentification from school days is the laser and light show man. My GCSE music teacher, my GCSE music teacher would refer to Jean Michel Jarre as the laser and light show man, and I would like to say, no, he wasn't the laser and light show man. He was a musical composer. Okay, he made music. The laser and light shows came later on. The music was what came first with Jarre, and the laser and light shows are kind of almost incidental to his music, but as is the case with music these days, you can't do a gig without lots of lasers and lights and going, ooh wow,
Ooh wow.
ooh wow.
Ooh wow.
If you went to go to the Docklands concert, 1988, September, there probably would have been about a 2 or 3 week period when you would have been a pain in the backside to many of your friends. And I speak to my friends and I apologise for what a miserable, single-minded person I was at that time, because when the Docklands concert was coming, it got postponed because of Newham Borough Council putting off about the licence for the concert. And for I think as a week or two, it was like, is Destination Docklands going to happen? And it's like, no, I've been waiting to see this person, like whom I've loved for like about a decade at that point, in concert in Britain. And anyway, thankfully it eventually happened. But yeah, being a pain around Destination Docklands. When I went to La Défense concert in July 1990, I remember a discussion on the coach from Southampton to Paris, and that people were saying that Waiting for Cousteau, the track, is looped. Now, the tape version is 22 minutes and the CD version is just short of 47 minutes. And it's probably among the most listened to tracks of mine of Jean Michel Jarre. And it is not looped. And I want to say for the record, Waiting for Cousteau is not looped. Okay, they wouldn't have it on this coach journey to Paris for La Défense concert. But no, there is no looping going on in Waiting for Cousteau track. It's an unrepeating soundscape, and it's amazing. If you've been a Jean Michel Jarre fan for a number of years, it's possible you've probably bought yourself a pair of these time to time, sort of reflective John Lennon lookalike glasses, which Jean Michel Jarre also used for a while. And in the 80s and into the 90s, I would wear glasses like these. These are a relatively modern, a relatively recent addition. But I had glasses just like these, and if you're a Jarre fan of any long standing, you've probably had some glasses like this too. You may even still have them. At school, were you bullied for being a Jean Michel Jarre fan? I remember being teased an awful lot for being a Jarre fan. I didn't like the music, or wasn't as into the music as other people were around me. The music that mattered to me most was Jean Michel Jarre, with a bit of dabbling of Tangerine Dream, Mike Oldfield on the sides. And it's quite vindicating actually, because one of the people that would tease me the most about being a Jarre fan, especially when I got my Docklands t-shirt, he was a massive Pet Shop Boys fan, and thought it was sort of really odd that I liked Jean Michel Jarre, and he and a couple of other people actually struggled to think that Jarre was his actual name, and they'd say to me, "Oh, why doesn't Jean Michel Jarre call himself something else as a bit of a funny name?" Anyway, how satisfying that Jarre has collaborated with the Pet Shop Boys for his forthcoming album. Continuing with the theme of people treating you in different ways for liking Jean Michel Jarre, when you come across somebody who actually liked Jean Michel Jarre, before the internet, when finding tribes of people that loved the same things as you did, if they were slightly off mainstream, or even big, or even large, completely off mainstream, finding groups of other people to identify with was really, really quite difficult. And once in a while you'd come across somebody else who actually liked Jean Michel Jarre too, which was brilliant. And or they hadn't heard the music, but you played the music, and they'd start digging on you for it. That happened to me a couple of times. My very first job was in a record shop, and we'd sit having to process new stock that came in. This was in the days of 12-inch singles on vinyl, cassette tape singles, CD singles, early 90s. And I remember playing the long track Waiting for Cousteau whilst we were processing stock. And this other member of staff who was commenting to me that she actually thought Waiting for Cousteau was really romantic. Like, she had a special spot in my heart for many, many years now. Thank you, Willow. Other people thinking Jean Michel Jarre's music is strange and spooky and weird. And again, talking of Waiting for Cousteau, I had a phase when I would carry around a large cassette deck. Yes, and played a track. I lived down a country lane. You didn't come across many other people, and would love to listen to Waiting for Cousteau in later in the day in evening ambience. And I had a friend come to stay, a lady friend. Had romantic aspirations. Didn't really come off. But anyway, she thought Jean Michel Jarre was brilliant, but she thought Waiting for Cousteau was slightly strange or spooky. Now, as a Jarre fan, and I guess if you've been a fan from any other artist for a number of years, you have an aging collection of t-shirts. This is something that vexes me, is I love my Jarre t-shirts. I'd love to be able to renovate and rejuvenate them. Is there a service that exists to help your Jean Michel Jarre t-shirts? Because it's my Docklands t-shirt. Don't wear these anymore because I don't want to ruin them. From Destination Docklands. They've been in the garage and storage for a while, and they smell a bit odd. But I would love to sort of get these saved. This is my Chronology tour from 1993. And my La Défense t-shirt from Bastille Day in 1990. And all of them need a bit of TLC, and I'd like to get them renovated if possible. If you know of a way of looking after your Jean Michel Jarre t-shirts and bringing them new life, or even sort of getting them copied, do let me know. I don't have many more t-shirts after them because the price of t-shirts at concerts has gone up hugely, and it's expensive enough getting to a gig as it is, yet alone buying lots of merchandise. But I do have an Equinox t-shirt. You've probably seen me wearing it on the first Electronica review, and I do have an Oxygen t-shirt, which was a bootleg copy outside a concert a few years ago because I couldn't afford the main gig concerts. Anyway, I will have to get a new t-shirt. I'm sure there will be some in Jarre's forthcoming tour. Keep them peeled because I will be doing another electronica review, electronica part 2. If I can't do it straight away, hopefully I can put it out in the week following its release next Friday, which I can't wait for. So keep listening to Jarre, keep loving Jarre. It's going to be a good year for a Jarre fan, and thank you for watching.